Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Nomad in Gameland and to the first part of this Loop Zero to Loop Hero series, where we'll be playing the game using what I think is the quickest and easiest strategy to be the first 4 chapters. I do have a video guide, just about 20 minutes long, which is a condensed version of what we'll be doing here over the next 3 to 4 to 5 episodes. If you want to watch that, by all means check that out. I've also reviewed the game. Don't watch that. That video review is terrible. But anyway, let's jump straight in. Let's start playing Loop Hero. Now, when I say I'm going to beat the game, I mean I'm going to beat the first 4 chapters. I'm going to skip over all the text here because I don't want to give you any spoilers. I'll let you figure out what the story is yourselves. We're not going to do any of the extra content. We're going to skip the tutorial here as well. But if you haven't played it, I do recommend you checking out the tutorial. Right. Now, let's build our campfire, because that's the first thing we need to do. And unfortunately, so I'm expecting the game to last about 4 to 5 hours. And I would say about 80 to 90% of that time is spent farming. And we farm because we need about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 buildings. And once we got those 8 buildings, then we can basically just blast through the map. We can blast through the game and we'll win. So this first episode probably will be a little bit longer than the others, just because A, I need to tell you how to play. B, I'm gonna have to explain to you what resources we need and how to get them. And yeah, the rest of them will be the same stuff and it'll be farming. Again, 80% farming. It's just gonna be a repeat of what we're doing in this episode here. So if you're gonna watch any of the episodes in this series, and you are struggling with the game, make sure it's this one. But let's jump right in. Right, so we're going to play as we're playing as a warrior. I should know that. We're playing as a warrior because we have to in chapter 1. Now, before we go on an expedition, we're going to have to tidy up our deck. Now, in the first row, we've got Cemetery and Grove. We're going to leave Grove in, and we're going to leave Cemetery in. But throughout our playthrough, we are never going to once use the Cemetery card. But because we need 2 on this row, we're going to leave it in for now. Right, but we're never going to use it. Second row, Spider Cocoon leave in. Vampire Mansion take out for now. Battlefield leave in. Road Lantern, I'm going to take out. If you're struggling, if you don't really know how to play yet and you're struggling with the amount of enemies, maybe keep it in, because it can help you to manage the amount of enemies. But I don't think I will need it, and I will tell you why I don't think I need it. It's because, and you will see later, enemies are your friends. You want enemies on the map. Too many is too many, but you do want a ton, right? Enemies are not they're not something to be scared of. So I don't think we need it. We might use them when we fight the Lich anyway, but we'll move on. We don't need it for now. Rock and Melee, we can't touch them, but we need both. Oblivion, very important. Treasury, very important. Get rid of Beacon. We're not going to be using it. Right, so Cemetery Grove, Spider Cocoon, Battlefield, Rock, Meadow, Oblivion, Treasury. Let's do it. Let's jump right in. Right, loop 1. Yeah. Right, so depending on what this slime we're going to be fighting, depending on what they drop, right, they dropped a couple of things. Right, so let's go for items first. Okay, so as a warrior, we get 1 weapon, 1 ring, 1 shield, and 1 piece of armor. Now, you see this armor? It's just a regular old piece of armor, and it's got a grey background, and it's level 1 because we're on loop 1. So we're going to equip that. Now, general rule of thumb is, if you've got something that's a higher level than what you've got equipped, then replace it. As simple as that, right? Now, what's important is that these items all come in different colors. And so this is the most basic one. This is gray or plain, whatever you want to call it. And then one level higher than that is blue. And then you got yellow, and then you got orange, which is the best. Now, even if you've got a blue armor here, which is level 1, if you've got, as a general rule of thumb, if you've got a level 2, just a plain grey one, replace it. Right? The colors are not that important. The only exception, I think, is if you've got something that's orange, then wait an extra level to replace it. Right? So if I get an orange level 1, I'm not going to replace it until I get anything that's level 3. Yeah? Hopefully that makes sense. Now, you don't need to read the stats really on chapter 1, to be honest with you. But if you do, I would basically recommend, let's say, prioritizing on the first couple of loops, maybe something like health regen, and on the later loops, vampirism. But realistically, we're not going to be sticking around until past like 8 loop at the excuse me, at the absolute latest. I don't think we're sticking around past loop 8. In fact, the vast majority, I think will be loop 7. We'll be sticking around till. But hey, let's make a move. Right, so Meadow. I'm going to put it here, right? So Meadows will give us 2 HP at the end of the day. And what's important is we're going to have to put them next to something, because if you put them next to anything except for other meadows, they'll transform. And while we got some food from them, we want some other resources. So I'll do, when I get a mountain or something, I'm going to place it next to the meadow. I'll show you what happens. Grove. It's going to spawn some enemies. And in chapter 1, groves are nothing to be concerned about. I usually just put it right in front of the hero because... Wait, which way is the hero going? That way, right? As soon as we pass it, we're going to get some extra wood. Yep, wood. There you go. Nice and easy. Okay, spider cocoon. What I like to do... I shouldn't have put the grove there. Doesn't matter anyway. So, you see where the road kind of bends in on itself. I like to put the spider cocoon there. Because what that means is it's going to spawn here, it's going to spawn there, and it's going to spawn there. That means we can have one spider cocoon be spawning 12 spiders all in one go. Which is great. We want them to spread out. Okay, shield. See how it's yellow? Right? If we get a level 2, just a regular old shield, we're going to replace that yellow one. Right, now, you see how it's going to heal us 2 per day? Now that we put a rock next to it, it's going to transform. It's going to give us 3 per day now. And it's giving us noticeable change. And 20 of these are going to give us 1 metamorphosis, which is a resource. Now, all these resources, right? So we got some pebbles from the stones, some wood from the groves, some rations from the meadows, and the metamorphoses from that changing. The last one we need to know about is these metals. And the metals come where we collect items on the loop. Right? So there's going to be a point in time where we're going to have a bunch of swords or armor, right? So this armor we're never going to use. This armor we're never going to use because it's worse than what we have at the moment. So eventually we're going to collect all these armor slots, and we're going to have too many of these useless pieces of armor, and they're going to get recycled. And when they get recycled, they actually turn into metal fragments, and it's yet another resource for us to collect. So we don't necessarily want to keep switching out if we can avoid it. Now you see how I kept placing those meadows right next to the rocks? We want them to transform. Right, so we are actually fighting without a sword at the moment. There we go, we got an axe. Right, there you go, yeah. So these two are both going to get recycled eventually and turned into metal shards or whatever it is they call them. Right, anything that's useful? No. Right. Now that's kind of the basics. We're waiting for different cards now so I can tell you what to do with them. By all means, if you want to have a look at the stats to see what is better. So for example, you might have a piece of armor or a weapon that's better than what you currently equipped. You can do that if you want. Again, we do want to recycle some shards. Right, okay. So, level 3 is better than level 1. We're going to replace that. This is yellow 1, and this is plain 1, so we're just going to replace that. It doesn't necessarily mean it's better with yellow, but in this case, it was better. You're going to have to trust me on that one. Right. And so I'm placing my rocks in a vertical tile. Again, this is up to you if you want to figure out a better way of doing this. What that means is I can place meadows on either side of these rocks to basically make sure they all transform. You don't need to do it this way, but it's just the way I've been doing it. Do not build rocks in chapter 1 so far in a 9x9 grid. I mean, a 3x3 grid, which makes 9. Because that's going to spawn a different type of enemy called harpies, and we don't want to deal with that right now. Right, okay, battlefield. This is important because they spawn chests. So what I'm going to do, so every time we pass the campfire, it's going to spawn more on my chest. So what I'm going to do is if I place it here, as soon as we pass the campfire, it's going to spawn a chest here. If we put it there, then we pass the campfire, we won't get a chest here. Then it's going to be a spawning once we're in this bit here. So we then have to wait until we go all the way around the loop to get it. So that's why I like to put it nice and early. Make sure they don't overlap. You don't want to place 2 of those next to each other. because some more bad guys come. Right, let's go rock here. Let's just do on the sides now. Right. Oblivion cards, keep these. They're very, very important. I'll show you why once we get a bit more, some more rocks. No, I'll keep that. Right. So once you get a certain amount of rocks, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A goblin camp's gonna spawn. As soon as we can, so if you've got an Oblivion card, as soon as you see that, you want to destroy it. Because they are a pain in the backside. They're a real pain in the backside. Right, 3 is better than 1. So we're going to replace our sword. And yellow is better than blue, so we're going to keep it as is. Right. Jolly, jolly good. Okay, treasury cards. These are important. Right, as soon as you get one, doesn't matter what else you have in your hand, make sure you place this treasury card down. And what we're going to do now is build around this treasury with rocks and meadows. Oh, I forgot to say, yeah, do you remember I was telling you how the chest was going to spawn there? Well, that's what we just fought. Right. Yellow is better than plain. Right. Now, 2 is better than 1. It's got regen, that's actually pretty good. Now, you remember the treasure we're going to build around this? So, rocks, I'm going to put this in the corner. Now, the way I like to do it is put meadows on the top, bottom, left, and right of this, so they all transform, and then put rocks on the side, but that's really up to you, how you want to manage transforming your meadows. And it's the same. So we could do it like that. There is an adjacency bonus for these rocks and mountains, but I don't typically try to count them. I don't think you need to, but if you want to make the most of it, yeah, you should really put rocks and mountains next to each other. All rocks and mountains and mountains. I don't bother. I just want to avoid the harpies, personally. Right, we've got 2 treasuries. If you get 2 treasuries, I like to place them down close to each other, right? Because if you start building on top of this normally, you have to space it out 1 extra tile. But if you place it before you've started building on this top row, you can actually save some space. I don't know, I explained that very, very poorly. But it's not a big deal. Just make sure you get them. Right, we've got another spider cocoon. I'm going to place... I wanted to place it here. So... I'm actually not. I'm going to... Normally I would, but the campfire's there. So I'm not going to place it here. I'm going to place it somewhere like here. So it's got 2 places to spawn. And for this loop, we want basically we want about 5 spider cocoons for the whole map. Okay, don't be scared of them. Enemies are your friends. They're going to give us loads of loot. And the groves actually as well. Like in this, on chapter 1, you're really more scared of spiders than anything else. Oh, wow, level 4, there you go. I'm not even going to read the stats, I'm just going to put it on. Right, can you see why I put them in the top right and left right? So, I can't, if I put the meadow here, it's not going to transform. Luckily, I've got a rock here, so it will transform here. But I like to, spread them out. Now, what's this? Scrap metal, right, so we can recycle things here. If we recycle things here, it goes to scrap metal. We also get some resources from the treasury, which I'll show you now, right? So we're going to complete this treasury. And it's going to explode, and it might give us some cards, it might give us some resources, it might give us some loot. But let's see what happens. Right, it's giving us a bunch of other things, right? It's giving us a bunch. It's giving us a nice shield. It's giving us a level 4 ring. It's giving us a couple of cards. I'm going to put another spider cocoon here. Right, 1, 2, 3. We want 2 more. And we want to keep building around this. Now, I think I've told you, I've explained everything we're doing here. Now it's just a matter of showing you how to finish the loop off. Right, see, I've got a level 4. I've got a level 4 weapon and a level 4 shield. And we got a level 5 weapon and shield. But I'm not going to upgrade them because I want level 6, right? Because these are orange. If these were yellow, I would just replace them with these two. But because they're orange, I'm going to leave it as is. Right, let's explode another treasury. I am going to replace this ring, though, because I like vampirism. And this is yellow. Right, okay. Another battlefield. Make sure they don't overlap. Yeah, you see, I don't want it like this. I don't want it like this. This way they don't overlap. Right, and we're just gonna power through this now. Right, so the goblin camp just spawned. I'm gonna use the Oblivion card I luckily just got to destroy it. And the poor guy in it. Now, we're going to keep building and just doing the same thing over and over again until this boss bar, this day map completion bar fills up. And once that does, we're going to basically run away. Because all we're doing is farming for resources, which you see up here. Right, treasury I'll place straight away, and then I'll start building around it. Right, so we finally got our 5th spider cocoon. I probably won't build anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I probably won't build anymore. I'll keep building groves. But spiders, I think we got enough of now. So that's about it. We're just going to build up around. We're on level 4. I reckon we probably will be finished around level 6, loop 6, 7. But yeah, no problem whatsoever. Absolutely, that's the thing. No problem whatsoever. In the loop, right? Now you see that goblin camp's just spawned? As soon as I get Oblivion card, I'm gonna destroy it. But yeah, look how many you got. Look how many enemies we have, and it's scary. You don't need to be scared of them. You don't need to be scared of the enemies. Except for goblins. Be scared of goblins. Right, so we actually have a level 6 weapon now. So this is the time I'm going to upgrade that level 4 dagger. Right, so we're coming up to a goblin camp. I wasn't able to get an Oblivion card to destroy it, so I'm going to show you why I hate them so much. Alright, let's see how tough it is to actually take these guys down. Right, so I had absolutely no problem the rest of the map. This guy just took out like a 200 HP. Right, these guys are serious. There's serious pain in the backside. Alright, thank God I can get rid of them now. Right, so one thing we need to be aware of, right, is we are... Oh, are you kidding me? You're absolutely kidding me. One thing, we're coming to the end of the map. Right, once you build tiles, you come to the end of the map. And because we're farming, we don't necessarily want to end the map straight away. So if I end the map now, I can't get any more tiles on the second loop. So what I might actually do is make sure we get past the campfire before we spawn the boss. So I need to be very careful See, every time I place a tile, that goes up by 1. I need to make sure that this does not go above that before we get to here. So I might place 1. We can get maybe... Alright, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to place this rock down. I'm not going to place a single card now until we pass this campfire. I've actually not been paying attention. Have we got any good gear? No, not really. Ah, we are about to pass the campfire. So why am I... Oh. Is it worth risky putting the battlefield down? I don't think it is. I'm going to wait. Okay, we've passed the campfire now. Now we're free to basically trigger the boss fight. Because we're going to get one more loop out of this. I would have loved to put another battlefield card, but we're probably... It's too late now. So, let's put something down. Oh, we could have got away with one more. Oh, well. Alright, okay. We could have got away with a couple more. There we go. We spawned the boss. Now, we don't want to fight the boss. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this... As soon as the boss spawns, we're going to hold down this run button. Now, what that's going to do is once we get back to base, it's going to automatically ask us if we want to retreat, which we do. But if you forget to do this and you forget to retreat here, you're going to have to fight the boss. You're going to lose a bunch of resources, like 70% of your resources. Anyway, make sure you place down everything before you leave the map. Make sure, because otherwise you're leaving resources on the table. At this point as well, you need to consider... Oh yeah, thank God. You need to consider whether it's worth actually putting on the armor rather than recycling it, right? So if you're not struggling, you don't necessarily need to switch your armor out, right? Do I really need this level 4 ring? For level 5 ring? Not really. This is probably going to help me and this is probably going to help me. But actually, I want the metal. I want the stable metals, actually. So I might actually not upgrade unless I get something really good. In fact, I probably should have switched this out already. But I probably won't switch these out now, even if I get a better item now. Just because I'm more interested in farming than I am in surviving loot, because we're not struggling in the loot. Are you kidding? You're kidding me? I'm actually going to put a spider cocoon here just so I can try to stop them from spawning here. Right, so one thing to note is we've actually maxed out the amount of wood we can collect. So what that means is every time we're going through this grove, we're not going to collect any more wood. So there really is no incentive to place down any more groves. We've also now maxed out the amount of stone we can get. So we don't really need the rocks either. We just need the meadows. Not that it matters. I mean, we're pretty much done now. We just need to get it to the end of the map. Well, there you go. I just want to hold it and see what we've done, actually, right? So we're finishing the expedition on loop 6. We're not struggling. In fact, I might as well just place these down to show you how much XP how much HP we could have. Right? We're not struggling on the loop. We've managed to collect 10 wood, 10 stone, 10 stable metals, 6 food, and yeah, we're not struggling at all. And so now that we come to the end, it's going to ask us, because we held that button, whether we want to stay or retreat, and we want to retreat. And then we're going to build. Now, there's a couple of things we need to build straight away. Now, the first thing I probably want to do is get these two. I'm going to start with the field kitchen. I'm just going to put that anywhere. And can we build the herbalist hut? Yes, we can. Just put that there. And so this one's going to give us Blood Grove. Let me show you. This is going to give us Blood Grove, and it's going to help us improve the healing when we pass the campfire. This is going to give us potions, both very, very important. I'm also going to get the gymnasium because we can. Right, jolly good. And what that's going to do is give us villages, which I'll explain in the next episode. Now, so in concluding this part, this is going to be the most important part, because the next parts beyond this is going to be farming mostly. So hopefully in this part you understand the method of playing the loop, understanding that enemies are not scary and you need them, a lot of them, not too many, but you need a lot of them, and how to place different cards next to each other to maximize resources. Anyway, join me with part 2, where we're going to continue to play the loops. We're going to continue to farm, and we've got a couple more cards at our disposal. I think we've got villagers, so stay tuned and I'll tell you how to use villagers and Blood Grove. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Take care, guys.